All right, boys, good to see you.
Right time.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you ready?
White Sox! White Sox! Go, go, White Sox! Let's go, 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 White!
Welcome to Chicago Sports Bearing Down on Halftime Show, coming to you live from a true gem of Chicagoland pub, the Toadstool Pub in Highwood Park, home of the $3 12-ounce bottles and $7 Toadstool vodka points. I'm your QB, Brandon Trax Hyatt, along with sometime senior staff columnist and 8-time Illinois Sportswriter of the Year, Hiatt Telander. Rick, we have a tale of two games at halftime. I mean, really, what's going on out there? What are you seeing?
It's weird. Both teams, I mean, 7-7-7-7. Nobody scored any more than that. There's 14 points in each game.
Yeah.
I would have expected the Dolphins to have a lot more going on.
Yeah.
And the Green Bay game, they scored early, and it just doesn't look like. And it's just kind of a blah game, waiting for these to break open.
Yeah, I'm kind of blot out myself, not really seeing a whole lot of action. It was kind of cool to see that running back for Saquon Barkley for the Giants cut loose. That was cool, man. That felt pretty good.
Great back.
Yeah. Yeah, monster, ain't it? He's got legs the size of trunks, big trunks.
Video of him where he is not dead, he's clean jerking or something or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an incredible amount of weight.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of remind me of that story you were talking about what do you call it? Walter pulling that tree out, you know?
Whatever kind of strength that is, clearly
Yeah.
has an impact on running.
Yes. Yes, for sure. I always wondered, and I don't know if you've ever done a story on this or you've talked to somebody that dives into the weeds of like talking about like sports and how like, you know, when you build all this muscle up, what kind of pressure that puts on your knee and your joints and all that, you know, it's got to have.
You're right. The one thing that you can build up muscles all the time, as much as you possibly can to your body will handle, but your sinews, ligaments, cartilage, bones don't really change. And
right.
So, you know, I've seen guys that do so many hamstring curls or whatever, then they get out and run first time and just pull a hamstring.
Yeah.
And your knee, oh my God. I mean, I've had knee problems.
Really?
Inside a knee, and it's complex the way it's got to bend. It doesn't just bend straight, it kind of rotates and wings very odd. And then it's got all these ligaments, you know, the medial collateral, the anterior cruciate, the medial collateral. It's crazy. And when you have legs like that,
yeah.
I don't know. Your knees got to say, "Oh God, please, no more."
And then you got to go, 40 yards at freaking 4 seconds, and then you get hit multiple times. It's like going through like a car wreck, each time.
It is,
and you're stopping right on impact. It's not like you're stopping on your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody could just stop on their own and blow their knee out.
Right.
See it all the time in basketball where there's not much impact.
It happens all the time. I'm trying to think. There was a wide receiver for the Bears who tore both of his patellar tendons.
Wendell Davis?
Huh?
Was it Wendell Davis?
Yes, Wendell Davis.
Yeah.
Yes, in Philly on a terrible surface,
Right.
at Old Veteran Stadium, I think it was. Both of them. And I remember talking to him afterwards. later, he had like straight leg casts on each leg. I said, good Lord, how did you get around? What happened when you sit on the toilet? And it's like, oh my God. And to get upstairs, he'd just sit on his butt and pull himself up because his bedroom, I guess, is upstairs. And then he'd slide down.
That's a bad setup, man.
Bad
When you
deal.
got a bad, when you got a bad wheel, you don't want to be upstairs, do you?
No, you don't. You want bed right inside the front door.
Yes. Friends, there's still time to place your second half picks on both sides of tonight's Monday night Twin Bill with Underdog Fantasy. The official gaming partner of Chicago Sports Podcast is also the world's #1 fantasy sports site. Enter your bid using the special CSP promo code when you sign up at www.underdogfantasy.com. Chicago Sports users will receive a 100% deposit matchup for $100 when they use a CSP sign-in code. Give $5, 5 picks, right, and you will multiply your money 20 times. It's simple, it's fast, it's mega fun. It's Underdog Fantasy, the official gaming partner of Chicago Sports Podcast. Speaking of mega fun, you're locked into Chicago's most fun podcast, Monsters of the Madhouse. Be sure to like us on YouTube to bookmark every Monsters episode. So, Rick, aside from Jordan Love's poise and high QBR play, what's the biggest X factor that you see for Green Bay right now?
The biggest what?
The X factor that you see for Green Bay right now.
Well, I don't know. I'm still getting used to the fact Aaron Rodgers isn't there.
Yeah, that's a lot too.
I guess, do they have a great defensive play? No, I haven't followed them that much, but I don't see somebody. If you have one of those just absolute house wreckers at defensive end, somebody terrifies the other quarterback. You know, I don't see that on the package. In fact, I don't see any great players on the team. You know,
yeah,
nobody that really stands out, but that doesn't mean it can't be a great team,
right?
But I do think every team needs that great pass rusher, and that's what was so good about the Bears, even though it's an odd time to do it. They got Montez Sweat.
Yeah, I really like that they got. I like that they got Montez Sweat. He seems like the X factor. He's really making other people play well right now. And you know, I'm also switching gears really quick because we got the Bulls game going on. It's a lot of action going on here. We got TVs everywhere, people everywhere. It's freaking amazing. We've got, you know, both of the Twin Bill games, the Packers and the Giants, and then we got the Tennessee and the Dolphins. And then we got over here, we've got the Bucks and the Bulls. And I'm looking at this game right here, and you would never be able to tell that we've got our top 2 superstars out tonight and that we're just playing a bunch of guys that are actually really playing together. They're only down by 4 right now.
Yeah, I know. Somebody once said should let the start an NBA game, give each team 100 points and let them play 2 minutes. This looks like it's going to go down to the wire, but I would bet almost anything on the Bucks winning. They're at home.
Yeah.
I don't know. I it could be, obviously it could be wrong, but you're right. With all these TVs going, my eyeballs are going around like, like a tennis shoe in a drying machine.
Drying machine. Well, if they start making that kind of squeaky noise, I'll help you out. Yeah. You know, is Matt LaFleur the NFL's most underrated head coach right now?
He certainly is. I'd have to think about that.
Well, we just went over earlier. Remember, we went over his unique record for December.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That in itself.
Is that all his record
for the
3? How long has he been there?
I think this is his third,
like 4th year, third
year, maybe.
I don't know. McCarthy left.
Yeah. Now, McCarthy's down there for Dallas for a while.
But that was weird. Why?
Yeah.
These are things I don't understand. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers didn't like him, but now Aaron Rodgers is gone. Anyway,
right.
I thought about that, but he may well be.
Yeah.
Especially if they keep it going. It is December now. This game's up for grabs.
Yeah.
This is weird, man. 2 games playing, and they're both 7-7.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to see some action, but at least it's more action than the 3-0 score that the Minnesota Vikings had yesterday. 3-0.
Stumble and fall into at least a touchdown somewhere along the line.
Well, yeah, I don't know what happened. I'll tell you what. I mean, even when you look at baseball is more exciting than that. The only game that I think that would actually be exciting at 3-0 is probably soccer.
Is what? Which game?
Soccer, 3-0 soccer.
Oh, God. Well, that'd be a rout. That's like a 40-0.
Yeah.
50. That's like a 200-0 win. What I'm used to are 0-0 games.
Okay.
They're incredibly exciting.
Yeah, I mean, he's gunning for his 17th straight December win tonight, Matt LaFleur.
I've never heard that. That is astounding.
But the Bears sometimes don't record 17 December wins in a decade, so
I don't.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, man.
My God, the thing is, how do they do in January? I don't know. Anyway, that is astounding, and that's going to be a lot of fun for Packer fans.
Yeah,
because there's be blizzards and stuff like that going on.
I saw what was going on with hello Kylie Hoffman. Thanks for saying hi, and everybody else that's out there. I saw Tyreek Hill get a little frustrated. I didn't know what that was.
I saw that too.
I was chowing on some amazing pizza and wings that we had up here. The owner of this, he went out and he got us some pizza and wings, brought him in. Amazing guy, very, very kind guy, Tom. But Tyreek Hill continues to put up video game numbers for the Dolphins. He came in tonight's game against the Titans with 93 catches, 1,481 yards, and 12 touchdowns. In today's pass-centric QB dominating league, wide receivers don't win league most valuable player awards. But I mean, Tyreek has to be in consideration with those kind of numbers, right? He very well could get 2,000 yards, and he would be the first receiver to do so.
You have to reward him probably with that. Yeah. It's funny, being a wide receiver, they always say, well, he's doing this or that, but you can't do anything unless somebody passes him the ball.
Well, I agree with you on that point, but if you're Tom Waddle, first you have to land on your head and then you catch the ball. I love Tom.
Poor Tom Waddle. He was a terrific possession receiver. A lot of people, they hear him on radio, but they don't remember him as a player.
Yeah,
he was great. And man, he got brutalized because he would go across the middle. Fearless, great hands, and great third down possession receiver. But oh my God, yeah, he'd be anything to catch the ball, and then he'd get blasted, just annihilated. In fact, he's got that huge. You ever seen? He's got a great big scar under his chin.
I didn't look at
all
that.
Jig jag. And
I'm looking this way, not
upside down, whatever.
But you know what? He attributed a lot of that to of his great playing. You know what he told me?
What?
Smelling salt.
Huh?
Smelling salt. He loves smelling salt.
Okay, that's great.
He said there's several things.
You ever done that?
Yeah, I did. But he said that there's actually several benefits to smelling salt. He's like, it's great. I said, what do you got some in your pocket? He goes, yeah, I just might. And then he didn't say nothing after that.
To me, it's one of the worst things I've ever done in my life.
Really?
So you take a whiff that. Your head bolts backwards, your eyes close, you shake your head, you say, get that away from me. It is horrendous. It's like having mustard gas, like you're in the trench in World War I. You like that one? How did it help him?
All I know is that's what he said. I didn't lean into it and ask him more questions. We were at a tailgate, you know what I mean? It was autograph time, and then we did the shot ski where me, Misty, and a couple other guys. We grabbed a ski, and there's a shot in there.
I've seen it.
And we all took it together at the same time, and
that's cool.
That was pretty cool.
That's outstanding. I'm happy to hear that.
I got to do a shot ski with Tom Waddle.
My share of shots. Every Jello shots, shots.
Oh my goodness.
It was this bar.
Yeah.
Before Tom Garrity got it. Called the Wooden Nickel. It had to be 30 years ago.
Okay.
And I came in here sometimes or whatever. Some friends were in here. The guys that I hadn't seen in a long time. Oh man, Rick, I'm gonna buy you a shot. And I said, I'm not really into shots at that particular time. He gave it to me. I threw it back. is lucky I didn't projectile hurl. It's called a wildfire
Oh yeah.
or
Fire.
prairie fire. Prairie fire, something.
Yeah.
It was 151
Fireball.
rum and Tabasco or something like that.
Ooh, 151 rum.
Oh,
I had a really cool experience with that in Baltimore, Maryland.
there's
where
no
you-
good experience.
Where you
with
take the water taxi across, and they got the cobblestone roads and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. So I go in there, and they're playing Great Balls of Fire, and this guy is on the piano. They take the 151, they throw it across the piano, and they set it on fire. And the
Sure.
guy's like doing it backwards, forwards, and all this. And then there's this waitress who was dressed up as a night nurse, and she says, "Take a big shot, big boy." And I was like, "I'll do whatever you ask," you know. And she takes a knee and she grabs a syringe, and she says, "Okay, now open up." And she's like, "Wait a second, I got this wrong." She stood up and she goes, "You take a knee." And then she threw her leg over my shoulder and then administered the shot. And she goes, now drink it all up, you know. And I can't remember what amount of money I gave her that. I was a sailor, you know, but it was pretty cool.
Well, I don't know which is more traumatic, the shot or the leg over your shoulder.
Oh man. So I have to listen to our nurses, right? So
Shot skis. Okay.
shot skis. What will be the deciding factor in the second half of both of the games, Rick?
What'd you pick? Oh God, I don't know. Well, listen, somebody has to break open.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like with the Dolphins, any moment, those guys had so much speed. Mustard, Shane or whatever. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm looking at it now. What is a cow doing out there? They had there was some people wandering around. Anyway, with the Dolphins, you just had that fear that it's going to break open.
Yeah.
But then by the same token, the Titans had that guy, Henry, who's just, we were talking about that at halftime. A fabulous guy to watch. Now you get to the Packers and the Giants. I just don't think the Giants
Can hold up.
are, they just don't have the, the firepower to score a lot. I'm counting on the Packers to open it up. Not that I want them to, but
Green Bay's up by 10, or they're up by
10-7.
yeah, they're up by
10-7,
field goal.
okay.
And then I believe Tennessee's up by a field goal too, right?
And you know what? We're at such an angle with these teams.
Yeah. Yep. Now over here you've got the Bulls 89-94. So they're still lockstep. They're in there, you know.
Bulls
down by
are
5.
ahead.
No, they're down by 5. They're down
Okay.
by 5, yeah. So
Okay, 94.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're not right at the bar. We're off
No.
to the end here, and the TVs are
Yeah.
not displayed for us perfect.
And
But
these-
that's okay.
And your eyes are taking a beating with these LED
These are
lights.
taking a beating.
but you've been a good sport about it. You know what? Thanks, Rick. Appreciate you answering the
Yeah.
bell for Mongo.
Thank you, Brandon. And don't forget, I'm doing this for you, for Misty,
Yeah.
but for Mongo.
Yeah.
Can't forget about him. The guy, ALS is just a dreadful disease. Hopefully someday it gets figured out. And he's had it for a while now. It's tough, man. It is tough.
I got plenty of time for you. I definitely have a ton of time for Mongo. Let's hear a couple stories, man. Where did it all begin?
With Mongo?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the ones I have, Roy's, are hilarious.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
First of all, I remember him. It was training camp up in Wisconsin. Where did they go? It wasn't Iowa. Where's Iowa? Wherever, they've had training camps all over the place. Anyway, it's a parking lot, and guys are getting out of their cars just to start. And they're walking in with big suitcases and walking in with dumbbells and stuff like that. Mongo's walking in. He's got I don't know if he had a briefcase in one hand, and he has this tiniest dog I've ever seen in my life. This little Chihuahua, small Chihuahua, holding in his arms, cradled up near his chin, talking to it and everything. It was just the dichotomy of this guy, this monstrous guy, and this little tiny, I think it was called Killer, maybe it was his name. And he has a sense of humor that is just off the charts. When he was on the radio, it was one of the funniest things ever. I would always listen to WMAQ before Bears games.
Okay.
And he was this close constantly to being censored by the government and sent to prison for things he was saying. God, it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, I would slap him like, and you're thinking, oh no, don't say it. And he would say it.
Oh,
And it
boy.
was with Jeff Dickerson, I think he was on with. And Dickerson, you could just tell, you could feel him cringing.
Yeah.
And Mongo would just say this stuff. It was very insightful. I also saw him one time at a pro wrestling thing in South Carolina. And these guys were practicing, before they went out there. They just beat the living hell out of each other with these chairs. And I mean, they knew it was coming,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It's a chair. It's a chair.
Chair to your back. They better hit you right, or you're just going to be,
Yeah.
annihilated.
Hitting you right, still wrong. Oh shoot, man. Yeah. Anything else that you got? Any more Mongo stories or?
Let me think about Mongo. I think it was the one time Mongo met his match. I think was with Jimbo Covert.
Okay.
And Covert was just kind of straight ahead offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And Mongo, this hardcore Texas rattlesnake hunting defensive tackle. And the Bears offense and defense would go full speed against each other,
Okay.
even though they weren't supposed to take it easy. But Buddy Ryan and Ditka had this thing, and mostly Buddy Ryan did, just to show Ditka. So they would go full speed, even when you wanted to chill out. And I remember Ditka telling me one time, I went to Buddy and he said, hey, we're not playing each other on Sunday, but Buddy didn't care. And so one time, Covert, who was a state wrestling player, something like that.
Yeah.
And they got into this thing, like a skirmish, and he body slammed Mongo. And I think you can ask if he could speak, he would acknowledge this about Covert. Just very, just like that was it. You don't go that any farther than that, right there.
Yeah.
But he was a good sport about it. He's always been a good sport about everything. He's willing to admit flaws. He's willing to admit all kinds of things. Just something very human about the guy.
Yeah.
But also with this attitude, like in certain ways, I just don't give a damn what people think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an ass. I'm going to be, polite to women and courteous and stuff like that. But when I want to do something that's nuts, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that you gotta love his, just straight up ruthless truthfulness about everything. I mean, he did not hold back. And a lot of times we want to embody that Mongo in some of those moments where we kind of hold back. You know what I mean?
Those defensive tackles. The reason Singletary and Otis Wilson, those guys did so well, the defensive line is supposed to take on the blockers and leave the linebackers free to roam around. And so the amount of sacks that McMichael had from the tackle position,
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing. I don't know what the number
Like almost 100. It was almost 100. Yeah.
sacks.
That's amazing.
Specialty was sacking the quarterback. That's all you got to do. Like you see these guys like Hutchinson and some of these other guys. That's all they do. Just like they get in a track snap and they aim for the quarterback. A lot of times they could blow right past the running back because they're just doing that one thing. His wasn't just that one thing.
No, you're soaking up the middle to two, three guys at a time. And the fact remains is, along with that, you have to take on some of the biggest guys in football, biggest, strongest guys in football.
And don't forget, Richard Dent was getting an awful lot of sacks. And so was Dan Hampton.
Hampton, yeah.
And Fridge would be in the middle. Fridge was, I think, usually the other down lineman. So it moved around. But the defensive ends, Dent and Hampton, they're the guys you expect to get more sacks. So for McMichael to get that many, it really is amazing. The only flaw in his football career is that he went to Green Bay for a while.
That was the stick.
McMahon.
That was the stick it to the man, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think the Packers do that just to tarnish Bears.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, he was with us and always with us. So we had a couple shows over at the old Mongos over there. And I tell you what, man, they treat you so good, and you can just feel the Mongo in the air. It's so cool, man, and the stories and stuff, you know.
Soft to Misty. I don't think anybody can understand how difficult it is to be his caretaker, even though they have a caretaker now. They have different ones, but just the guy who can't move anything, nothing.
Yeah.
Except I think now just his eyelids.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We were talking about automation and all that earlier, and the AI or whatever. It's really cool that machine that he's got that can speak to you. That's really cool that's there. You know,
tell you what, the one good thing about AI and all the things that are online is if you are bedridden, you can live a life in a sense. You don't have your freedom, but you can live it almost like a regular person, because most people get up in the morning, first thing, look at their phone, going to look at their laptop, sit there and work on a laptop all day long. All the information is there. And, if he can control that with his eyes, which is the way Stephen Hawking did it at the end, and the way I think he's learning how now, right? And that, he's got.
Well, at first he kind of wanted to stay clear of that. He really didn't want to lean into it. But then after a while, because they could actually, in the beginning, the last part to go is the face.
Right.
And so they could read his lips and stuff. And then he was a little frustrated because he's probably thinking, you guys can still read my lips. But once the lips went, then you got the eyes, and then that's what the Toadies.
It's funny. I mean, not funny. What a horrid disease that it just takes away all of your muscle control. It keeps working its way towards your head. It doesn't affect your brain. It's the same Mongo inside there. And all that's left, it gets your lips, gets your facial muscles. And the last thing that's left is your eyelids. And, I hope I've seen him a couple of times, and the one time he could still whisper things. And the last time was nothing. So I hope he adapts to that. I mean, it's got to be tough, but you want to be able to communicate with the world.
Yeah.
And I know he does. I don't know, man. What a thing.
Yeah, he uses that machine a lot to talk to his wife and stuff. And that's really cool that they can share that, and then of course he likes to give the nurses a hard time.
Oh yeah. She just told me one time he wanted to see he wanted some ice cream.
Oh yeah.
And she wasn't going to give him any because he'd already had some or something.
Yeah.
And he started crying. And then when she got him some ice cream, he told her later it was a fake cry.
Hey, thanks, Rick and friends. We appreciate you showing up for a Mega Monday fun night in Chicago's fastest growing, hottest sports podcast, Monster of the Madhouse. For Sun-Time senior staff columnist and 8-time Illinois Sportswriter of the Year, Rick Telander, the wonderful crew here at Toadstool Pub, and our CSP family, I'm Brandon Trax Hiatt. Until we meet again, friends, keep living like future Hall of Famer Steve Mongo Michael with everything you got. Good night, Chicago.